I'm supposed to introduce the governor. He said, call me Andy. Andy. Thank you.
Are we ready to elect Adam Moore to the State House? Folks, I am really excited to be here tonight, and thank you. Look at this crowd. Doesn't that have you fired up in this election? You know, it's that time, less than a month to go. Every door that's knocked, every dollar that's given is so important in this moment. I'm seeing more energy out there, not just here in Kentucky, but around the country than I have ever seen. A chance to do a couple of good things. First, to defeat Amendment 2 and support our public schools.
Yes! Woo! Hell yes!
Second, to elect Pamela Goodwine, Justice of the Supreme Court. And third, to pick up House seats with Adam Moore and a number of other candidates around this state. Oh, Molly's here tonight too? I supported Molly in a fundraiser earlier. Let's elect Molly Crane to the state citizen. All right, folks, I'm here tonight because election matters. Who we elect matters. I mean, we look back at 4.5 years ago, and we weren't even looking at the same state. You look at where we've come from Matt Bevin to today, and when we elect Democrats, we govern well. Over the last 4.5 years, we've broken every record for economic development, from private sector investment, to new jobs, to new wages, to exports, to tourism. When we elect Democrats, we move everyone's life forward in such a positive way. And let me tell you, I love how people are looking at Kentucky right now. You know, I was in this thing called the Veep Stakes for a quick minute. I didn't win. But Tim Walz is a good friend, a great governor, and will be an amazing vice president of the United States of America. But in every one of those conversations, people ask that question, how is the governor of Kentucky involved in this conversation? It's what we are doing together. It's how we've lifted every family up. It's how we're providing clean drinking water all over our Commonwealth. It's how we're running internet access to every single home and business across Kentucky. It's how we've recognized that when we come together, we can move this state forward in such special ways. And I got to tell you, it feels pretty good to finally have people looking up to Kentucky instead of looking down at us. How about it? And we think about how far we've come, about how people are talking about our new Kentucky home, one where everything is possible, one where we're building the 2 biggest battery plants on planet Earth. We've opened the cleanest, greenest recycled paper mill this world has ever seen. One where whether you're going into the workforce right outside of high school or seeking a 2-year or a 4-year degree, the best opportunities are available for you that we've ever seen. One where we're finally seeing jobs go into every single part of the Commonwealth because we are one state and we have to make sure that every single area succeeds. And one where we recognize that inclusion is a value, that we have to lift up every Kentucky child, every Kentucky adult, and make sure that we all move forward together. That's not necessarily what you've seen out of the supermajority of our state legislature. You've seen bills that are based on anger politics. You've seen bills that attack groups of kids. You've seen that group act as a bully to push people down instead of to lift people up. Well, if I think about a guy I want standing next to me to fight a bully, I want a veteran of our United States Armed Forces. You know, Adam gets it. He gets that it's not going to be easy when he starts, but he gets how important the fight is. He gets that there are voices out there that deserve to be heard, and without having somebody that will stand up regardless of how difficult the challenge is, that those people are left out and left behind. You know, my faith drives me. It teaches me that golden rule that we love our neighbor as ourselves. And the parable of the Good Samaritan says everyone is our neighbor. we deserve a state representative and a state legislature that believes the same, sees the same, and puts the same into action. That we spend our time creating jobs and expanding health care, improving our roads and our bridges, and not trying to play these culture war games that ultimately just divide us. You know, I'm proud that since last year, if you look at the rest of the country, we've turned our temperature down. We see less arguments even heading in to this presidential election. It's so important that we don't let the next session of the General Assembly derail us, to push us off of this positive path of progress that we have. Listen, I'm so proud of what we are all doing together. And that, yes, while I went through that beefsteaks, I'm really proud I'm going to be your governor for the next 3 years, 2 months, a week, and a couple of days. And tonight, very grateful. There are a lot of people here who I met when I started running for Attorney General that have stuck with me ever since. When you win your first race by 2,201 vote, when you win your second race by 0.1%, what that means is everything you do matters, which means tonight matters. Tomorrow knocking doors matters. Doing the phone bank matters. Every single thing you do for Adam could be the difference between winning and losing. Think about this. When we were up against Matt Bevin, think about how big those stakes were. Think about everything on the line. We won that race by 1.5 votes per precinct. And that means we need you to put in that effort. So let me ask you, are you ready to do the work? Yeah. Are you ready to knock the doors? Yeah. Are you ready to turn out the vote? Yeah. Are you ready to elect Adam Moore to the State House? Let me introduce you to your next state representative. Come on up, Adam.
Governor Beshear, everyone. Yeah. Thank you all so much for being here with me, with Andy. I love that we can call him Andy because he's our governor.
Andy's my name.
And it's your name. I love that. I got my wife here with me, my son, who I think has found the playscape over there. My parents are here tonight, and an amazing crowd on a beautiful night in a beautiful part of the 45th House District. So, I mean, what an amazing evening. So thank you all so much for being a part of it with me. Andy says so much about how we're moving forward. When Democrats are elected, good things happen. We govern, we get stuff done, because it's not about culture wars, it's about Kentuckians. What can we do for one another? That we are all our brothers and our sisters' keeper. And that's kind of how I want to be. My parents raised me that way, whether it was in our home, whether it was in our church, whether it was in the things that we did. That's how it was. You work hard and you treat people right, and you don't got to make it any more complicated than that. I tried to do that down in Murray in college. I tried to do it up in D.C. when I was working on Capitol Hill. I tried to do it here in the States and in Afghanistan when I wore that uniform he was talking about. And I try and do that day in and day out with my family, with my clients I work with. It's what I want to do for you all and the about 45,000 people I'm going to have the opportunity to represent as the next representative of the 45th House District. Now, a lot of this stuff ain't complicated. I want to run to help Kentucky's working families. That's our children and grandchildren. That's our parents and our grandparents, and it's everyone's in between. It's what I'm a part of. It's what my parents are part of. It's what a lot of people here are part of, because if we help our kids and our grandparents and the rest of us, like Andy said, it helps all of us. And that's what I'm for, our working families, by protecting and supporting our public schools, by making sure that people can get the medical care that they need, that they deserve. That is their human right, and have access to that. To make sure that government doesn't tell you you can't call yourself that, you can't dress like that, you cannot get this medical attention that you deserve. And when I go to Frankfort, that's the kind of energy I want to bring out there. Common sense, nothing crazy, working with Andy, working for Kentucky's families to move Kentucky forward. Yes. It's like Michelle Obama said, it's not Michelle, she said do something. It's like Vice President Harris, our future president, said, we're not going back. And my opponent, it's not about going to the right because he's a Republican. He and those like him are trying to take Kentucky backwards. We're not going back in Kentucky. We're not going back in the 45th. And like the theme of the governor's inauguration, we're moving forward together. And that's what we're going to do. And that's what I want to do once I'm elected and I get to go to Frankfurt. Now, Andy talked about winning his first race, by 0.1%. In the 45th House District, you didn't win by 0.1%. You didn't win by 1%. He won by 21% in this House seat last year. Now, I don't say that so y'all get complacent and think I'm a shoo-in and I'm going to win. I say that so you know that we can win, and if you, like Michelle Obama said, do something, we will win. So if that's knocking the doors, if that's making the phone calls, if that's writing a check or a second check, or take some envelopes with you and find someone else to put a check in them. Everything you can do matters. Every vote matters. Because when it comes down to a 0.1% victory, I don't want to be on the wrong side, guys. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for what you've done, and help me get through these next 29 days. And then I'll be Representative Adam Moore. Thank you. We did it.